Here's the exact guide on how you can eat any food that you want in this world and drop body fat in the same week. Now, we get a bit of a stick for helping people eat traditional South Asian food whilst getting in amazing shape, and they think that's all that we do. But in actual fact, what we do, our methods transcend any type of cuisine. It's just very hard to do it with the South Asian food, and we can do it with the hardest food that there is, that has higher calories, lots of fat, lots of portion sizes, and we can do it with that serving of food, and that means we can do it with any type of food. So most of our US clients eat Mexican food, Italian food. They don't always eat the South Asian food. So we use the same principles that we do with our UK and Kenyan clients who love the South Asian dishes, and then we use that in Mexican, Italian, name of cuisine. We've got you covered when it comes to a specific strategy that you can eat that food whilst dropping weight in the same week. Firstly, you have to consider what the goal is. If you're trying to lose body fat, you need to eat less than what your body needs. If you're a 60 kilo female versus a 100 kilo dude, your requirements of what goes onto your plate and what goes into your day-to-day food will be completely different. If you weigh less, you burn less calories, therefore you have to eat less or do more movement to justify more expenditure and more eating to be able to offset some of that low calorie, low energy that you don't burn on a day-to-day basis because you're 50 kilos soaking wet. The muscle mass doesn't matter when it comes to how many calories you burn. I think on general, if you add a pound of extra muscle, you burn like 7 to 9 calories, which is nothing if you're going to gain 20 pounds. And if you're trying to gain 20 pounds, just stop there. It's going to take you 10 years to do so. If you're a natural person, South Asian genetics, you're going to need a long time to be able to build up that base of calories burns on a day-to-day basis from extra muscle. So what we have to take into consideration is looking at what is in this food, like whether it's Italian food, whether it's Mexican food, whether it's British fish and chips, and whether it's South Asian food down to the dark paneer makhnis and the masala chips that you get in Kenya, which are just absolutely fucking fantastic, is that it's all about understanding what calories are in this food and how then you master it for your plate, your portion on a day-to-day basis, and how that fits into the rest of your day. And here's the exact steps. There's 2 steps that you want to go through. One is a more accurate approach, which gives you more life skills later down the line. And then you've got the other gunshot approach that we like to utilize with clients who are eating mum and dad's cooking. They're going out very regularly and they just don't know how to master eating pizza, Italian food, Mexican food, Indian food in a social setting. So let's go with this one. First, the biggest priority is if you want to take this lifelong skill, you need to know exactly what it is that moves the needle for you. So having specific grammage or specific portions allows you to understand what moves the needle forwards and why 150 grams of something versus 400 grams is the exact amount for you. Most people come into us and say, Nathan, I just don't know what to eat, when to eat it, and how to eat it, and I don't know what portion sizes I should be having to get in amazing shape. Well, by weighing your food and understanding the dynamics of what that looks like on a plate gives you a clear indication of what you can do when it comes to the pastas, the gnocchis, the Mexican food, and getting super crystal clear with that. Now, you don't have to use a tracking app or count your calories to be able to do so. You just need to have some education, which you can get from ChatGPT, you can get from our PDFs, which I can give you if you want them. Comment underneath the guide and I'll send you the whole PDF that we have. And what you'll do is you'll understand the calories that are in that food and you'll be able to portion things based on that. And once you have some brief education on things like gnocchi, on spaghetti, on salsa and Mexican dishes and tacos, you'll be able to understand how many that you need to build up this plate. For most people, if you're anything above 80 kilos, you will be looking at 400 to 500 calories per meal when you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner and a snack. Whereas if you're 60 kilos, you'd be looking at one of your meals being 400-500, another one being 300, a breakfast being 300 and a snack being 300, so you can factor it across the day. Which means that you'll need to understand, what can I get for my 300-400 calories? That's almost like taking a £50 note into TK Maxx and going, what can I get with this? Because this is the only amount of money that I've got. I need to make this last. I want a t-shirt, I want a hoodie, I want one of these fluffy jackets, and I want a pair of shorts. And you have to make sure that your money and the choices that you make are right for you. You can't just go into TK Maxx with an unlimited budget when you haven't got an unlimited budget and then spend way more than you need to. Gaining fat is the equivalent of doing that. You spend more than you need in terms of calories and you just gain fat, or you don't move anywhere towards fat loss. So once you've got a little bit of education, and the key to this is pre-planning. If you're going to a Mexican restaurant, if you're going to an Italian restaurant, if you're going for pizza, do your background check on the food that you're going to first. If you don't have education with food, you need to spend the time doing it. It's something you do every single day. Learning a hobby is normally a thing that you do for 6 to 9 months within the research. Most people hobbies 6 to 9 months and then they give it up after that 6 to 9 months. months period. It's because they don't practice it enough, it's not integrated into their daily routine, and people go through phases. However, with food, you're doing that every day. You have to eat to maintain and stay alive. So it's better to invest now some time into education to then be able to then, in the next 20 years, not worry about it. So once you've got your pre-planning, you know you're going for gnocchi, or you're going for pasta, or you're going for spaghetti, or you're going for pizza, you can then utilize our guide that I can send you to look at how many calories are roughly in a portion, like a slice of pizza, like a serving of spaghetti, like a portioned amount of dal makhni or paneer makhni, whichever one you want to go for. And then you then utilize those frameworks as a way to align your plate versus the portion sizes that you were having before. Because maybe you were doing 4 tacos, or maybe you were doing a full pizza to yourself. And when you realize that that full pizza was 1,500 calories and your allotment for that meal is 500, then you'll start acting differently, and you'll start understanding that you can have these foods, you just can't have them the way that you've been gluttonous before with. And then it starts to change your dynamic, because you're not restricted on a diet anymore. You're not, oh, I have to eat low carb, or oh, I can't have my favorite foods and get in amazing shape. You can. You just have to have pre-planning, and you have to be prepared that you're not going to have it in the same portions that you've been having it previously. Because guess what? The portions that you've been having have got you the belly. They've got you the love handles. They've got you in the shape that you are right now, which is not going to be a positive thing. They're the things that we have to change. So you can eat any foods that you want. Name a food, I've had it on a diet. Name a food, my clients have had it on a diet. But it's all about that pre-planning, understanding how much you can have of it, and then doing that thing because you know it's going to be right for the goals, and to be able to not be on a diet that's a fad diet. A fad diet is categorized as doing something that you wouldn't do for the long time period, that isn't integrated into your lifestyle, that's a quick fix, that changes the whole dynamic that you're part of, and then when you go back to your normal eating, you gain your weight back. But if you're going to be having pizza, you're going to be having takeaway with the kids, you're going to be having South Asian food, and you're definitely going to be having fish and chips if you come to the UK, you're going to need to learn how to have that in the right way, which comes down to that proactivity, which comes down to understanding the calories and things, and then understanding what is right for me at this moment in time, and then aligning to those things, because that's how we get people in amazing shape. We understand the calories in the South Asian food, we understand the calories in the Mexican food, the steaks, whatever people go for, and then we teach them the exact dynamics of how much they need on that plate to be towards their goals, as opposed to their own eyes bigger than their belly mentality that they've had before. And then the second one is the gunshot approach, which is like, if you don't want to do some education, which I would severely recommend, if you just want to go on a day and make sure that you're having a portion that doesn't blow it out the window, but it won't guarantee your results, but it'll do something that's better than nothing, is use something called the 1 plate rule that we utilize when other people are cooking food, and they want to have the food that other people are having, but they want to have it in a way where it doesn't completely destroy their gains. We use the 1 plate rule, 1 plate of food, half of veggies, a quarter of protein, which is like the lentils, the paneers, the chickens, the beefs, the turkeys, whatever it is, and then a quarter of your plate being carbohydrates, whether it's a rice, a roti, taco, tortilla wrap, whichever way it is, and you've got a good plate of food there. That's not going to be the most accurate way to lose weight, but it is going to be something where you can be inclusive, you can have the food, and you don't have to worry about over consuming food. With the 1 plate rule, you have to watch out for some auxiliary things. I've just done a video which I'll put up here about how healthy food is not getting you in shape, and that's because when you do this 1 plate rule, people will add guacamole, or they'll add olives, or they'll add avocado, and then they don't understand why they're not losing weight or their weight has gone up. It's because they're adding things that are not part of that plate consumption that actually increase your calories, because you haven't done the education beforehand to know what's in an avocado, what's in olive. An olive is 10 calories, and then a full avocado is 350 calories, which is the same as 2 chocolate bars, or a tub of Halo Top ice cream, or 3 packs of crisps. So understanding what's in your food becomes a massive dynamic when it comes to making the right decision, because you can have what you want, you just won't be able to have it in the portion sizes that you've had it previously, and you have to do some proactive thinking and proactive planning to understand what goes in that food to be successful. And we've took the thinking out of it when it comes to that, because we have a guide that goes through exactly every food source that you could possibly have and the right portion sizes for you. So therefore, if you want this guide, you can just put it in the comments below, and I'll get back to you, and we can send that over via email to you, so that you can never be in a situation where you can't have the foods that you want and get in shape, because once you know how to do it, it's easy.